So one of the things I do is our home loan is through our bank that we have our checking account with, and I make my loan payment, like I just transfer money over to my loan, and I can like make sure it goes through at the right time. So you can transfer. And I mean, in the past 2 years, the number of things that got added, like Venmo and Zelle and Cash App, all the different, I mean, I don't even know what's all out there. I feel like every time something new comes up, I'm like, I don't have that one yet. And I mean, how many different things do we have to have out there? You know, so like, that's a type of electronic banking, is like things like Venmo. So, and I mean, probably I think different eras of people use different things. Yeah, so like my parents don't use those yet, but at the same time, like it would be really nice if you could get Venmo, like you know, I give you money or pay you for something. So those are all online banking. All of those things I would highly recommend you're really careful about passwords and who you share things with, because someone could take a lot of money from you very quickly just by a few clicks. So making sure that that's really secure.
My Nigerian uncle.
He's offering you millions if you only give him like.
That's what he said.
So one of the things that we can get for having this is different type of interest. This is kind of good interest. So if you have money sitting in a bank account like a savings account or maybe even some checking account, the bank sometimes will give you interest based off of you having your money there. So they'll give you every once in a while. I don't know how often it is. I think it's once a month. It's not really hugely significant, but I get an interest amount like added into my account because I have my money with that bank. So it's money the bank pays you for using their bank.
I just don't. I bet every bank.
Yeah, except it's less than inflation. So
Right.
if you're losing money there, I don't want to.
So this is one thing, yeah. So it's a very small amount. Like your interest, like on your bank account, is probably in the single-digit percentages. I remember when I was a kid, a savings account, you could get a much better interest rate, and that's gone down. Like that's just not as prevalent of a thing. So it's pretty insignificant, or like if you have a small amount, it's only a percentage anyway. So it literally could be like a few cents that like all of a sudden it shows up and they're giving you that. They're saying thanks for being a member. But this is good interest versus credit card interest where you're paying extra. ATM, you know what it stands for?
Automatic transaction machine.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, that just gives me cash for free.
At the
That's what
moment.
I see.
What's that?
Like just close your eyes.
Is that automatic? I don't even know if I know. Is it transaction?
I've never used an ATM.
Oh yeah, I pull money out ATM.
I know it's automatic.
Automatically have money.
What does ATM stand for, Ms. Miller?
Automatic.
Automatic money machine.
Really close. Super close. Actually.
It's automated. Oh, it's automated teller machine.
Is it?
Clearly you've never used one before.
I've never used
Well,
one.
the good thing is you don't need to know what it is.
I knew that.
You've never used an ATM.
Has any of your parents ever called it a time machine?
Yes.
No.
My
So-
parents just tell me to stop
That was
using it.
when they first came out, that's the brand name, it was take your money everywhere.
But it was a Wisconsin thing, because I know in Minnesota, I'd say we need to go to the time machine, and they'd be like, okay, Nikki, we'll go to the time machine, and they were like making fun of me because they thought I was talking about like time travel, and I was like, no, this is, so if your parents ever call it a time machine, just call them old, no. I mean, like, they were all,
Ones that wrote the.
yeah, they were,
wrote the,
oh.
coding and stuff.
Yeah, but that's all there was. Like every ATM in this area was a time machine. So if your parents ever call it that, they're not crazy. And you might even see that on there, like a little like label. But this is where you can go to get money. Some you can make deposits, some you can do some transfers and different things. But For the most part, it's used to take money out. Now, if you haven't learned this and you haven't used it frequently, like some places have free ones, and then others will charge you for using them.
It's like the gas station down here charges you.
But like
Blasphemy.
Quick Trip are all free. So Quick Trips are always like, so when you see free ATM, otherwise you're paying like $3 to get $20 out. It's crazy. So
Just hook a chain around it and drag
Or
it.
you can find accounts
I need
that
all the
if
money.
you join a bank, ask them right away if they refund you for those, so like
Oh.
if I do it, say yes, I want the fee,
Can't really steal
Oh.
and then it comes back on my account.
Oh, that's
it.
nice.
Is it
Yeah.
cells on fire on the inside?
I mean, I literally have pulled up to these places and been like, oh, heck no, and just drove away. Like, I don't need money that bad. Like,
You gotta get their
so,
insurance money. You didn't know that? You didn't know they burned?
So,
Really?
okay, guys.
I'm not kidding. Look it up.
So, but when we say this is not free money yet, it comes out of your account. You can usually use a debit card or a check card. We talked about a debit card earlier this year. So a debit card is one that directly is linked to like a checking account. So linked. So this looks like a credit card, but it comes straight out of your account. Like this is what I use most often is my debit card. Like, so I have money sitting in my bank account and I just debit things. Like I just take things out when I go to the grocery store, I just take it out of my account rather than charging it on a credit card and then having to pay that back. But different people have different schools of thought with that, so it kind of depends. Debit card might be something you guys might get sooner rather than later, that you're able to get that money out. Because we're gonna,
What should I do if my credit card's maxed out?
Stop spending.
Keep swiping.
Pay it off?
You or you just apply for a new.
It's not an option.
What you're gonna wanna do.
You
is
apply
you're
for a
gonna
new
open
credit card.
another
Yeah.
one, And then you just pay off the old one with that one, and then you just keep swiping.
Go to the bank, tell them you're somebody else, and open a credit card under their name, and then you don't even have to pay it back.
Yeah.
Free money.
Awesome. It works really good. I promise you.
Okay.
She's the one that maxed out.
Don't be jealous.
Yeah.
It's not illegal, it's wrong.
And you guys should do this, because this is actually very smart, I used to do this. Maybe you have a credit card, and then you have it, like, it'll always say for the first year it has 0 interest. So then, once that year starts ending, find another credit card,
And move it over.
with that will have 0 interest, and move all of that over, transfer it over to that credit card, and that way you're paying it off without paying interest.
Scammer gets scammed.
It's good until you start like bringing up all of the cards. Yeah, like if you can be smart about that, because my brother does that all the time too. Like he finds
Yeah,
all
make
the
sure you
cards.
cancel
Yeah.
that card,
Yeah.
and
I just got the Fleet Farm one.
But yeah, like just being
The old Coles card.
aware of all that. So our next one is our PIN number, and
7740.
we have lots of PIN numbers, but this is obviously an important one. This is one, if there's a creepy guy at the gas station, like over your shoulder, don't let him see your PIN number. Like they're trying to.
I never used my PIN either.
No. So,
Just get a tattoo on my forehead. I never forget. Oh, I'll carry a mirror.
hey guys.
I'll carry a shiny rock.
So, yeah, your PIN number is typically like a 4-digit number that how you get money out of your debit card. So when they send you a PIN number or allow you to choose one, you want to pick something that makes sense. They usually tell you not to use like your birth date or something like that. All right. Okay, guys.
I don't know one password.
The next one is direct deposit. So I don't know many people who don't use this. So when I get paid from school, the money just goes into my account. Like I don't have to like walk to like get a check from school. I have to go deposit it at the bank. It goes straight into my account. It just shows up there. Like we get paid, we've mentioned before, on like the 15th and then like the last of the month. So like, since this one fell around Thanksgiving, we actually got paid early. So it was like sitting in my account earlier. Like I was like, wait, where's all that money? And I was like, oh, we got paid already. And it wasn't quite the end of the month. So direct deposit, it just goes right into your account for you. So your employer deposits it into your account.
Just gambled. I'll put it on.
Red.
Put it on double
red.
zero.
No, put it on red.
Why?
Why would you put it on black?
Right. Double zero. I don't want double zero.
Okay.
Hit single zero.
So again, direct deposit's nice because then you don't have to wait for a check to go through or anything like that, or you don't have to take the check to the bank. And we actually, our bank is not even close to us. Like we still have a bank from when Mr. Donahue lived with his, like back in college with his parents or whatever. So our account is still like down near the airport, but it just, we don't need to ever like physically go into the bank because we do so many things online. Now service fees. Some checking accounts will charge you a service fee for different types of things. First of all, obviously like overdraft. You might get a fee. So
Just deny it.
it might be a penalty, like an overdraft fee. Because you spent more than you had. Some make you, again, so Ms. Miller mentioned her, when she goes to an ATM, if she's got to pay a fee, her bank pays her back. Some banks charge you another fee on top of that one for not using. So you want to check, like asking those questions, like, do you give an ATM fee? Like, because your bank might charge you more money on top of the fee you already paid because you're not using their ATM. ATM fees. And then I don't hope not many still have this. Some might even have a check fee, like to use their checking account. So you do have to pay for the checks. Well, some. POS does not stand for what you think it does.
What was that? Sounded like something.
Mind out of the letter.
That way you can then they pay like infinite money. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, invest all your money in a big casino chips. Bring them in. They're really good pay. Really good pay. Or invest all your money in chips.
Yeah.
Point of sale.
So point of sale is what this piece POS stands for. Almost slipped there. Point of sale. And this is important. So again, I think I mentioned this before. Once I had charges come up that we were getting Uber Eats out in California. Like
Uber Eats in California?
Like I was never in California to get Uber Eats.
What did you get?
Well, they spent a lot of money. It was like $200 of Uber Eats. And like, but the point of sale was a really great argument to say like, I was not in California, so that was not me. So like figuring out where that transaction was made, and being aware of that and being able to, so like the point of sale, the time it happens, where it happens, but also that's when it's going to come out of your account. They can charge you like that moment if they choose to. Some take longer depending. One of the things we're going to talk about in the next couple of days here is personal checking account versus business checking accounts. Personal just means that's the one you guys would have. So your family. But you might have access or use a business checking account, or like if you work in the office part of a business, you might be involved with the business checking account. So like a company would have that. So, let's see. All right, so let's go to, we'll start at the routing number, and then we'll finish these last couple of vocabulary words. So, our routing number, and we're gonna refer also to the big check. The routing number is a really important number because a lot of times on a phone call, if I'm setting up a payment online, they'll say, give me the routing number for your checking account. If you don't know what this is, the person on the phone is probably going to try to describe it to you, but knowing it obviously is a helpful thing. It's a number that's typically on your check. So like when we'll write it on here, it's next to your account number on your check. And so that way they know what bank, the routing number is like an address for the bank, like a special like electronic address that tells them where to put the money. So when we set up direct deposit here at work, we had to give them the routing number from our check. So,
And that's good to have handy all the time because when you get a job, they're gonna do an automatic deposit. They always ask you for that. Make sure you have it somewhere safe, but accessible.
So if I took out my checkbook right now, every one of my checks would have the routing number on it because it allows the bank to, like them to get the money from my bank more easily. So it's written on the check, or like I said, like Ms. Miller said, you might just be given that number. That's a number you need to know in order to be able to deposit things or take things out of your checking account electronically. So they'll ask you for that number. It's a super important number, but it's also one you wouldn't want other people to have because it kind of gives them a little more access to your account. At the same time, like I said, it's on every check. So if I write John a check today, he would see my routing number. He probably can't do a ton with it, but it's something like, kind of being trustworthy with people. But it is an important number that you should know. So being able to write a number like this in words is probably half of the part that is tough for a check when you guys write out a check, and we'll practice that in a second. So writing an amount in words, this is what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna write $1,234.56 in words to put on our check. So it must be written in words on a check. And I actually believe this is this has to then match the little what you have written in the box as well in order for this to work. So if we were writing this, and you guys are talking about cursive, I print on my checks. My cursive I don't like as much as my printing, so I just can write neater, I feel like. So I write in print unless for signing my name. So we would write this, whoops. So we would write 1,000, and they only give you this little line, 234, and then the change, rather than saying and 56 cents, typically what you'll write is, I usually write and, so you make a little and symbol, and I write 56 out of 100, and then my mom always, I think you're supposed to do this, I always drew a line until to end the line, and down here the check will probably say dollars. That'll be written by the check. And what that's saying is this is 56 cents, and people just know that. So that's kind of the weird part of it. You'll see that. And we'll look at the check. So if you guys want to grab the part of your notes that says a part of a check. So this one here. And we might be done after we do the check, just 'cause I wasn't sure how long this stuff would take.
No, he's a witness.
He's a negligent party.
Yeah, you see, because you would
All right.
deal with him.
So I do want to point out, you guys, that routing number. So the routing number is this first one here. So this is the one that the bank, like it's the electronic code for the bank. Again, that's not like your PIN number. It's just how they would be able to find the bank electronically. The next number is our account number. So this is my specific account. Like, so mine would be different than yours. Our routing number, if we went to the same bank, would be the same, but the amount of the account number would be different. We shouldn't have the same account number unless we have joint checking account, which would be weird.
Oh, that's just how I just scribbled down.
Okay.
That's the baby bro.
Nope.
Sorry, my board's a little on the low side there. Okay, guys. The next number across the bottom, this number is always going to match this one. This is the check number. So, like, there was a check I wrote once for Peyton was on an AAU basketball team, and I had to write a pretty large check for that AAU basketball team. It wasn't the most, like, organized business that I've ever wrote a check for. And the check didn't clear. Like, and I kept watching it, and I'm like, why is this not going through? And they're like, are you sure you wrote the check? And I'm like, yes, I see it here. This is my number. And so the check number is something to say, like, I wrote the check. It was check number this, like, look for it. It kind of is an identifier. So that check number, it's going to be on the bottom. It's also going to be on the top of your check. And that kind of, like, helps them put it in the right spot. Obviously, date. And you want to write all the pieces of that. So, you know, month. And the way you write the date doesn't really matter if you write it a different fancy way or you write it in words, whatever you happen to be, but you want to make sure you write the year. Writing the wrong year can be an issue. So, like, sometimes when I write a new check, this year coming up, like when the year flips over, if I wrote it for January of 2024, they might not accept it. The check is already over a year old. They might say write a new check. Okay. The top line here, the pay to the order of, this is who you're writing the check to. So who are we writing it to? So you guys can write in here, pay to the order of Mrs. Donahue. You guys are paying me.
I already put my name in there, sorry.
Okay. And again, I print typically on my checks, but it doesn't really, I think they always say, because they say cursive is easy, like it's harder to forge, I guess. This is going to be your information. Down here is your bank's information. This is Big Money Bank. I looked at that quickly and thought it was something inappropriate. Do anyone? Yeah.
Terrible.
Yes.
Terrible. Look at
Okay.
What does it mean?
that. I don't know, I'm confused.
All right. So the next few lines here, in terms of us, so in terms of the amount that we're paying to our bank, or paying to Mrs. Donahue here, if whatever I put in here, then I have to write it in words. So if I'm paying, let's say, you know, let's just go easy, $10.25. I'm gonna write that there as like in numbers. And then on this line here, so this is in numbers. Then in the next line, we have to write it in words. Now I'm going to write 10 and 25 out of 100. And then I just draw a line to show that I'm not writing anything else, so someone can't add 1,000 at the end or something. And I don't write dollars because dollars is already there for me. So 10 and 25 cents. We have to sign our name here. So you would sign here, well, Mr. Donahue, pay me. And then the other thing we need to fill in the memo line's optional, so signature. The memo line's like maybe if he, I don't know, pay for a sport fee or something like that. But this is optional. So, but you also have to know that this is like a, it could be used in a court of law, so you wouldn't want to be like for burying the body, like probably not like making a joke about something like that could potentially be questionable. So that information, being able to write those checks out, okay? I think we'll be done for today. We'll finish up